This is it. This is episode 531. No Laugh Track podcast here at Acme Comedy Company in Minneapolis, Minnesota. We are post-Christmas, pre-New Year's Eve. I am here with the week's headliner, Kermet Apio, who's doing shows all week, including Sunday night, which almost never happens here at Acme, but because New Year's Eve is on a Sunday, show must go on.
Yeah, and because it's overtime, I'm getting time and a half for that show.
Lewis was just out here, and I don't. Does he know that?
Yeah. Well, it's union. You know, it has to be that way. So yeah, I'm getting overtime pay, and
the comedy union,
right?
Yeah.
In the middle of the set, I get a break,
There
right?
you
Because
go.
it's 2 shows on a Sunday night, on a dark night, so I get time and a half and a break. I'm so happy. Episode 531. We're off to a start, my friend.
And because you're, the comedy union says we need to take a 5-minute break right now. So
just sit quietly.
Well, welcome back. You have, let's see, the last time we were here was, I think, August of 2022. Does that sound right?
Yes, that sounds about right. So happy to be back. Really, really excited about it.
Should be the same weather this week as
August. Yeah. Well, I did look at the extended forecast, and I truly believe it's lying to me. Because I've never been here. I've done New Year's Eve. This is my second time, but I've done a lot of Januaries over the years.
Yes, you have.
And I have never had, and I'm not even going to say what the forecast said because I don't want to jinx it, but I'm going to jinx it because it's never been that way.
Yeah.
I've never seen winter like that.
Yes,
So,
fingers crossed. Let's be thankful.
Yes.
So I want to ask you about New Year's Eves growing up. Let's go back all the way to when you were a kid. What was it like growing up? You lived in Hawaii as a kid.
Yes.
With mom and dad.
Yes.
And how many siblings?
I have 2 younger siblings.
2 younger siblings. So what was New Year's Eve like in Hawaii?
New Year's Eve is loud in Hawaii. People in Hawaii love to blow things up. It is, and there's no, well, actually there is now. There are laws now, but up until about probably 10 years ago, you could just set stuff on fire. You could just, you know what I mean? Like that, people were there were fireworks, but there were also just, grenades people had, you know what I mean? People are going nuts. And,
Leftovers?
Finger and arm injuries, those kind of things. It's a huge night for that. And so
Did
Hawaii,
the Apio family have them?
No. So my dad was a cop. So
he was cracking everybody.
Yeah, exactly. Or he'd be sitting there complaining the whole time, just these people, just hated New Year's Eve, and that's why he didn't want to work it. And by the time I was a kid, he had seniority, so he never worked that night.
Nice. Nice.
So our house is this kind of quiet house, but the whole neighborhood, it's lit up. It's just insane.
I was looking, one of the things I always do when I do the podcast is I'll look up stories about, like where people are from, where they grew up, maybe where they live now, like in Seattle for you. And I saw a story coming out of Hawaii, 16 tons of illegal fireworks were confiscated just earlier this week. So apparently they're really cracking down on that right now.
Yeah, and
I think it also has to do probably with maybe recovering from wildfires.
Yes,
in some areas, right?
So that's a huge thing this year. Is that things have gotten a lot drier with climate change and all that. So that's definitely an issue. And I think people are kind of like, because really no one could understand that could happen, right? No, until you see it, you think there's no way something like this could happen.
Yeah. And
it happened in front of us, right? So yes, I think this year I've heard that too. I don't know much about it, but I will say growing up, it was just people had arsenals in their garage ready to go. And I think a lot of that is that, there's a lot of Asian influence, right? And the Japanese and Chinese have been doing fireworks for centuries. So,
sure.
So that's where it kind of came from.
How are they so popular in Wisconsin then?
Well, that Chinese population in Wisconsin is that's a strong group of people. I've met all 4 of them, and they are influential.
Very much so. How about drinking for New Year's Eve?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Really in Hawaii, it's there's New Year's Eve, there's, Friday. You know what I mean? Like Hawaiians love to just sit and drink, and most garages aren't used for cars. There's like tables in the garage for when the neighbors come over, and then everybody grabs instruments and sings and dances hula, and there's so definitely New Year's Eve is accelerated a bit, but it really is just another reason.
I can't remember if I've ever asked you before. But you said that your dad was a cop. That now sounds familiar. The whole Hawaii 5-0 thing. I feel like joking about that in the past. What was that ever going to be something that you would have done? Did you have any interest in doing that other than instead of comedy?
No. So,
No.
okay. So, I'm the oldest of my dad's second family, essentially. Okay. So I had 5 half brothers. 2 of my half brothers were cops. One of them was a prison guard and eventually wound up, coming all the way up to management at the Oahu prison. And then one of my brothers was with the sheriff's department for a couple of years, and then got out of law enforcement. But there was a moment where I had 4 half brothers in law enforcement, and my father, literally known by just about everybody. We'd on the way to school, sometimes he would stop at this place for breakfast, and the police chief would pick up our tab, or the governor would pick up our tab. Like, everybody knew my dad, and so I had no desire. The only time
But you also sped around town knowing you could get out of anything, right?
No, just the opposite. Because my dad, well, I don't think he liked me very much. Yeah. So I wasn't that kind of kid. It wasn't like, oh, we'll cover this up. My dad's like, no, I will come to the jail cell, and I will beat you before you come out of the jail cell. And all my friends will look away because you deserve it. That's more my dad's strategy.
Oh my God.
So yeah. So
they're more on my team than you are, pal.
Right. Exactly. So yeah, it was. So when people say like, oh, well, you had a cop dad, like, nope. Not the one time I smoked pot before college. My friend said, you should never smoke pot again. You're horrible with pot, because I got so paranoid, and I was awful to be around. I just kept saying, do you hear it? Do you hear them? They're coming. I know who's coming, because I know who patrols this area. I can hear their car. And when they see me, and I'm going to say, hey, uncle, and this is awful. You guys, we got to get out of here now. Like, they're all mellow and high, and I am harshing every buzz there. And so
all your friends continued to be potheads, and they were like, no one call Kermit.
Yeah, absolutely. If there was going to be pot involved, we do not tell him, because he's horrible, right? And you got to realize, I'm a pretty easygoing, mellow guy in every other phase of my life. But I was so worried about getting in trouble, because the consequences for me would have been worse than any of those friends of mine.
Oh, I could absolutely see that.
Because they would have gone to jail in court. I barely would have made it to jail in court. I would have had to be rolled in.
That would have been the worst of your problems, right? Is actually facing the court.
Yeah, right. Just, or sitting up when the judge gets there. Like, will somebody put me in a standing position so I can show respect to the judge?
Someone speak for him. His lips are.
Yeah. So no, it wasn't. But yes, it was weird having a dad as a cop, because I looked at everything. People think I was a good kid. I wasn't. I was just so worried about consequence.
Funny.
Yeah.
Funny. Well, it kept you out of trouble, I guess, for the most part.
Yeah.
As far as I know.
Or it made me really smart as to how to get in trouble. Where to draw the lines in the sand.
Sure.
Right? Because I pushed right to the edge, and I knew if I go past this line, my dad or my brothers or somebody's going to come get me. So I kind of figured out what I could get away with.
So on the flip side of that, are you the most laid back dad with your kids because of that?
Yeah.
Have they been able to take advantage of you because of that?
That's right. Wow. That's probably. I would say
they're still a little too young. You don't know yet. Are they? I think your kids are what? In their late teens, early 20s, right? No?
Yeah. My daughter's 21. My son is 18.
So exactly. Yeah, they're not quite old enough to do those confessions to you, I think, yet, right?
Yeah, they're not quite. But I know that my daughter's been smarter than us since she was like 2.
Right.
Everything is, when she was little, every question, there were 3 questions ahead. She was setting you up, and you just think you're having a conversation with a 3-year-old, and there's 2 questions down the road that's what she's aiming at. It's So I know there'll be a confession point, but I realize, look, I wasn't an angel, so who am I to judge? Like, oh, you shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
My daughter's about to graduate college, so really I can't tell her anything. Like, she's lasted 2 years longer than I did in college.
Yeah, congrats to her for that.
Yeah,
that's awesome. That's awesome. What's the son doing?
He's a freshman at University of Hawaii.
Okay, so I listened back to last time you were here, and you had just recently gone on a visit to Hawaii.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what. So we did that visit in August. Well, that's right, because I was here in August.
Come on.
We did the visit in August. He did not apply anywhere else. He went to Hawaii, and this is a Seattle kid, and like, he's going, wow, it's not raining.
Yeah.
It's like he fell in love with it. And I'm so proud of him, man. He's taken Hawaiian language, Hawaiian cultural studies. He's a creative media major, and he is absolutely in love with Hawaii, and he's killing it out there. He's doing great. And yeah, so after when last time I talked to you, once we made that visit, he was done.
Oh, that's
And I kept
awesome.
saying, like, look, he's got like I think he had a 3.8. I was like, just apply. You might surprise yourself. There might be schools that like, oh, I think I'm good. Like, and I knew he was going to get into UH, right? Because he's got a quarter Hawaiian blood, which is a lot,
Okay.
right? So
So it is a situation where that helps to get in.
yes,
Okay.
absolutely, because they really want to help, kids who have Hawaiian blood. That's an
Sure.
important thing because
Yeah.
that bloodline is thinning out. There are very few people with half like I have, very few anymore. So, but also too, he's a 3.8, IB diploma kid. So you know what I mean. He took a very difficult course load in high school, and and so I knew he'd get in, but I was just like, just have options. But nope, just applied to UH. That was it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. How busy have you been with doing shows in the last year?
I've been pretty busy. I kind of thought because as we came out of lockdown, man, I took my time. I was a little worried about things, and so I didn't rush into it. And I kind of thought I was going to bite me in the ass because people are like, well, if you don't want to work for us in 21, why should we hire you in 22? You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, that could be a concern.
So it took a little while. A couple people just said, "Look, I didn't know you're working again. You didn't call us or say anything." Like, "Oh, okay, good point." But it's been wildly busy right now, and it's as a knock on wood thing because that could change. Um, but yeah, it has been. Put it this way: my wife and I have been empty nesters now for 3 months, and I
Yeah.
didn't really experience it because I haven't been home that much.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, that's probably helps that transition, I bet, huh? Yeah. No doubt.
Yes, it does, but it's really kicking the can down the road, right? And like at
Right.
some point, I'm gonna have to face this,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That my wife and I may have to have a conversation of some sort, like a
Whoa,
like
hold
a
on.
right.
What's this now? Whoa.
Like a non-kid related conversation, like, hey, are there any non-Pixar movies you like? What kind of things do you enjoy?
So should we finally get that puppy? Right? Yeah, Kermit's getting a dog. Uh-huh. You're getting a dog. Hey, I want to bring up. I loved a post you had on Facebook. I think it was just the other day. I'm just gonna read it here for you.
Okay, yeah.
All right. I've been a sports fan since I was a kid. That's why I became a cameraman. I love capturing these skilled athletes move with strength, instinct, and precision. The best of the best. And is it an honor to capture these moments of athleticism for all to see? And then under that you wrote, actually, no, your camera will be on Taylor Swift all game. That was your little ode to Taylor
Yes,
Swift
yes.
stealing all the attention during football games.
Well, and a couple people got me wrong on that. A couple people thought I was like, look, I don't know many of Taylor Swift's songs or anything, but I like her, right? She does a lot of charitable work. She writes her own damn songs. Like that's awesome in this day and age, right?
Sure.
Writes her songs, works really hard. Gave everybody involved with her tour like a 6-digit bonus.
yeah,
Everybody,
yeah.
you know what I mean? She seems like a really great human being for that level of fame, right? Because normally you hit that level and when nobody tells you no, you can just become whatever psycho you want to be. So I like her. It wasn't a slam on her. What I thought was very funny is that they don't want to miss a reaction. So it dawned on me like there's a camera person who has to be on that shot. Because if they're not on that shot and she does a wacky motion or thing, hey, did nobody get that? Did anybody get that right? So it dawned on me like this person who's trained to film athletes, right, is told, all right, today you're just going to get a shot of that booth with Taylor in it.
My wife will stop watching football if they stop showing her reactions to big plays.
That's one of the people in the comments of that post said, I don't know, I can't remember how they said it, but it was like, no, I don't think it's bad, right? It's great. And look, I mean, there are people watching football who could care less about football, but they're watching Chiefs games.
My wife asks me when they're playing.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
couldn't care. She's born and raised in Minnesota.
Right.
Could not care less about the Vikings. I work at the games. Couldn't care less. I'm a fan
Right.
of theirs. She couldn't care less.
Yeah.
But Taylor starts dating Travis Kelce, and she's a Chiefs fan. She wants merch.
Oh,
It's
the Kelce jersey.
crazy.
The Kelce jersey went nuts, right? And so,
Crazy.
no, I think it's great. I just thought it was a funny concept that you train your whole life to film athletes, and you're just watching a booth with a singer in it.
Oh, absolutely. The flip side of that is they'll have. Remember when the stadium opened in Toronto for the baseball team? It has a hotel
Yes.
built into it.
Yes.
And the cameramen were getting shots of people having sex during the games. So there's always a flip side to that. People doing it right with the windows open,
Of course
Fly
they
ball
were.
to center field.
Of course they were.
So you never know. You absolutely never know. So the Seattle Times, are you familiar with a newspaper called the Seattle Times?
Absolutely, yes.
Well, I'm a current subscriber as of about 5 hours ago, and then I canceled it 4 hours and 59 minutes later because I needed access to something that I found on their website, right?
Okay.
So they do a thing. So the Seattle Times is one of the local papers where you live, right?
Yes.
Just to be clear about
It's
that.
the local paper.
It's the local paper. All right. So they do a thing each week called Rant.
By the way, for people under 40, newspapers were things that were delivered to your house and they were printed news.
Yep. It's it's the print version of websites. So they used to print those out and deliver them to people's homes. I know it doesn't make any sense.
It sounds crazy now, doesn't it?
It does sound nuts. It sounds nuts. You know how I don't get a newspaper obviously anymore. Like barely anybody does. I remember I would not want to miss there's might be some good story in here I'm going to get to, and would end up having stacks of freaking newspaper around my house.
Yeah.
What a sign of the times.
Yep.
I do not miss anymore. In any case, so one of the local papers like in St. Paul, the Pioneer Press does Saints and Sinners, right? That's their version of Rant and Rave. Right. Are you familiar with Rant and Rave in the Seattle Times?
Yes.
Have you ever written into Rant and Rave in the Seattle
I
Times?
never have.
Okay, well, I found some pretty interesting ones. These are, these are entered from, readers, right? And they're complimenting something that happened locally, or they're upset about something that happened locally, right? So I printed some of these out, and I want to. You're gonna read those. Maybe I'll read some, and we'll get. You can expand on them. Maybe you've experienced this, et cetera, et cetera. So I've numbered them. So we'll start at number 1 there, and you read number 1, and we'll talk about that. And how about I'll read number 2, and we'll go.
I want to say that
there. Okay.
As a former subscriber to the Seattle Times, I want to say that one of the reasons I've never written into Rants and Raves is because I've read Rants and Raves, right? And boy, if I already thought that my opinion doesn't really matter, and you know what I mean, and that a city of a million people really doesn't want to read it. And then I read what they print, and I went, oh, they definitely don't want to read what I have to say. Like this is insane, this thing. So I don't even know what's here. Like, you're surprising me with this.
Yes.
But I bet it's going to be just odd and humorous, and like, why would someone write it in?
And now I'm thinking it's an editor's job to go through.
Oh, yeah.
They're not printing all of them.
I think about that all the time. These are the ones that made it.
Yeah.
These are the ones they thought are print worthy. All right.
Oh, fantastic. All right. So you go ahead with
Okay.
first one there.
Ooh, we're starting with a rant. So
Yes.
we're going
Yep.
hard.
Yep. Hard.
Okay. Rant to not knowing how to behave at a live performance. At a recent play, I got to, by the way, you have to picture me. This is Seattle. So I'm sitting by a window. Rain is hitting the window, right? The little sound of rain. I've got a little coffee in front of me, right? I've got a little coffee and and my little fancy pen that I bought, those $8 for one pen kind of pen. I've got that, and I'm ready to go. So you got to picture that person.
Perfect.
Rant to not knowing how to behave at a live performance. At a recent play, I got to enjoy we're outlining. A, running commentary on the story from the one behind me. B, a group of loud laughers who really wanted to be in the show. Sorry you auditioned and didn't get cast, but this isn't about you. And C, the person in the front row whose phone rang not once, but twice, despite the pre-show reminder to turn it off.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of with this person.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep. Sure.
But you know what you realize? You realize that whole thing has changed, right? I mean, I took my daughter to a musical. I was wearing a suit and she was wearing a dress, and there's a dude in jeans and a t-shirt, and I'm like, oh, I haven't been to a musical in a while, apparently.
Casual has changed.
Yeah.
The definition of casual has changed.
Yeah.
All right. We got a rave to Nordstrom. It's a department store. My feet are different sizes, and they sold me a shoe in each size and only charged me for one pair. I almost never go there, and every time I do, it's a positive experience. Did you? Did you know? I don't ever think of people having different sized feet and have that being a struggle to find shoes.
Well, this same person did a rant about Payless Shoe Source.
I bet they did. You go there, you just put them on your feet and walk out.
That's
Nobody
true.
says
Just put
anything.
your old shoe in the box.
Yeah.
1 in 12, 1 in 13.
Exactly. I want to see how big is the difference? Like, is one like a 7, the other one's a 13?
When they walk, do you hear thump tap, thump
Exactly.
tap, thump tap?
Exactly. All right, the next one.
You want me to do 3?
Yeah.
A rant to people who put wooden and upholstered furniture out on the street, hoping it will be picked up by someone, and then leave it out in the rain, ensuring that no one is going to pick up a saturated chair or sofa or a warped wooden bookcase.
I am guilty of actually doing that.
Have
in the
you done
past.
that?
Yes.
To what end? Did someone pick it up? Did you have to deal with it later?
It was a chair that I inherited and we didn't have room for anymore. I put it out when the forecast was nice for like a week and no one wanted it for weeks.
Wow.
And eventually it disappeared.
Okay. But you don't know if it was like a city official
I
or someone
don't.
who...
I feel shame.
Yeah.
I don't know what actually happened.
Well, this
to
rant
it,
is about
but,
you then.
This is the wrong city. I do not live anywhere near there. Oh, did we? Let's see. Did we skip one here? Rave to the producers. Did you see that one? Rave the producers of the TV show The Amazing Race for showing the world that what a beautiful city Seattle is. Did you know that The Amazing Race, the last episode of this season was in Seattle?
I had heard that. I didn't see it though.
You had heard that. Can we nail down when it was filmed? Because I took a mental note when I was watching it. At the time, gas was $5.29 in Seattle. When was that? In the spring? Was that during COVID? I don't know when that would have been, but they did show a lot of. I read a thing about them filming that episode, and someone in Seattle said, they did a pretty good job, but here are my suggestions for what they could have covered. And one of them was showing that wall of gum.
Ugh. I hate that thing.
I knew that would be your reaction.
I'm so grossed out by that thing. And occasionally I do a show. There's an improv theater there that sometimes will have stand-ups in the show. And I'm not kidding. When I make the turn down that hallway, I put my head down and I close my eyes enough to where I can see where I'm walking because I cannot look at that thing.
Because it's so gross.
It's gross. It's gross. It's a wall covered in gum.
I read it's about 50 feet long.
Is that right? Yes. Yes, and the improv theater is probably 40 feet down that freaking hallway.
Wow.
It's awful. Yeah.
I also read that when it gets warm, the smell gets worse.
Yes, that's the other thing too. Yeah.
Everybody's bad breath, right? Combined on that.
Yeah. They did a pressure wash on it, and it took like an effort. It took like they had to get firefighters and a fire hose. And but they put all that effort in pressure washing it, and everybody just started up again. People just started putting new gum on there.
Yeah, yep, I heard about that.
Yeah, it's. I mean, who wants stuff you were chewing on a wall? Who would want that? Like, but yet it's an attraction.
Sounds like you don't like gum art.
That's right. My apologies to the gum art community. I'm being very insensitive.
Gum art enthusiasts. What do we have the next one?
Let's just say this. I don't want to be a part of anything where they say take something from your body and leave it for others to enjoy. There's nothing for me in that sentence, right? I see no value to that.
No. Yeah. Toenail clippings, hair.
Yeah, you're right. Right. It's exactly what that is. It's just garbage from your mouth that you're done with. Like, and look, and I'm not. This is not about the gum artists. This is about the tourists.
There you go. There you go. Blame the tour. Blame Seattle tourists. If they didn't show up and take pictures in front of that thing, your kids didn't get seen your pictures in front of that, did they?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
I don't think they've ever seen it actually.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, I just realized because I won't go down there unless I'm working, and I don't think my wife likes it. Yeah, I don't think they've seen the gum wall. I mean, unless they've gone down they were friends, obviously.
Again, you'll find out 10 years from now. Ma, Dad, here's the truth. We love it. It's our favorite thing about Seattle.
Look at all these selfies.
Yeah.
Ah,
This is
as
this
I
is the
dry
appeal.
heave.
Yeah. We did your face in blue and pink gum, Dad. You wait. You're gonna get a Father's Day gift from there someday. All right. What's the next one you had? Rant to small people. You have that one there?
You want me to read that one?
Yeah.
Rant to small people with big dogs. If your dog can literally drag you into the street as it tries to get at me and my dog on the other side, then you need to rethink the parameters of pet ownership.
Not something I've ever thought about. Small people and big dogs, but I guess. All right, we skipped one there, but that's fine. So I'm going to go to the next one here, right?
All right.
Rant to grocery stores that are currently offering digital coupons for rib roasts at special prices. Not all of us go. Oh, I tried to edit this one. Not all of us have access to digital. Your offer is totally unfair. So you're upset that you can't get the offer for the roast.
Yeah.
But you were able to write into the paper to complain about it.
Right.
And here's the other thing I'm wondering about that. When was that written? Like, was that written
Right.
in 2020?
Yeah.
And that
yeah,
sale's long gone?
Right.
She's passed away.
Oh my god.
You got to get with the times, lady.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? There are things they can do. It's just not advertised, but there are ways they can do it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You got the airports one next there?
Rant to airports. Is it still necessary to scan shoes at the airport? My socks pick up others' foot odors and stink up my shoes and my house. They confiscate my cologne and they have questions about my dental floss sticks. Wait, what does the cologne and the floss sticks have to do with the...
It's all about smells with this person.
Ah.
It's all about smells.
Do your socks pick up other people's foot odors?
No. That's insane. I don't think so.
I travel a lot, and maybe I need to apologize to a lot of people because I had no idea.
You should be. You need to be more aware of this.
Wow.
Wow.
Just...
How would you know? How would you know if you're picking up other people's? I don't want to do that test.
Yeah. Plane safety, blah blah blah. But it gets a little stinky.
Sure, absolutely. Absolutely.
But this is what I'm talking about. This is the kind of thing where I would read and like, wow, someone thought to write that and that it would be important. And then other people at the newspaper went, okay, let's print this one. That to me is fascinating.
They're trying to change behavior.
They're trying to
make the world a better place.
Make the world without us sharing foot odors.
Rant to my Phantom Lake neighbor. Where's Phantom Lake? Do we know Phantom Lake?
I do not remember where Phantom Lake is.
Okay. Rant to my Phantom Lake neighbor who takes my paper while on his morning walk. Unfortunately, they won't see this unless they take my paper the day this runs. As we talked about, newspapers are occasionally delivered to people's homes and blah blah blah.
Well, if they don't take the paper, you could just stand by your window, and if they walk by, just take the paper to run it to them. So you need to read today's.
Yeah, there you go.
Right, just give it to them.
There you go. All right.
Rave to Honeycrisp, Cosmic Crisp, Fuji, Pink Lady, Gala, and other newest varieties of apples developed by Washington State University and others. These are everything you could want in an apple. Truly a delight.
Oh, so that's so nice. That's just a nice one. Someone's happy about apples. Isn't that nice?
Not only are they happy about apples, they need other people to know how happy they are about apples.
Yep. And then this next one, we'll see how this one ties in. Rant to grocery stores for their Rant to grocery stores for their lousy selection and variety of apples. Every week, it's the same old apples. For a state that brags about growing over 30 varieties of apples, why is it we cannot have McIntosh, Cortland, Empire, Rome, or Braeburn apples?
Wow.
Clearly not written by the same person.
No, it was not. But here's amazing. In 2 Rant and Raves, you have found 9 different apples mentioned in 2 different Rant and Raves. That is such a Seattle paper. Like, that is the most,
That's a very Seattle thing. Yeah.
I'm going to write one in that's just so I can mention Red Delicious and Granny Smith. Right? Rant to the people who ignore the old school apples.
I know. Hey,
right?
how about Granny, pal?
The ones that have been with us since the war.
Right. Exactly. The ones that are good in a pie.
the ones that make pie, absolutely.
Exactly.
Oh, that's so funny that we have a rave and a rant about apples.
Who knew? So the next one is very controversial. I'm going to leave this one for you.
A rant and a rave. Okay.
Yeah.
Rant and rave to a stadium filled with avid, enthusiastic Husky and Duck fans the other night. Rant to the 2 Duck fans who thought it was amusing to taunt me with comments about Ted Bundy's graduation from UW. I lived in Seattle through those frightening years, and my friend's sister was murdered by Ted Bundy. Not funny. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Wow. That's dark, man.
That is dark. Right after the apples.
I will say this. As someone who went to the University of Washington, I can still be very unbiased in saying Duck fans suck.
Okay.
They're awful. Right? And now, I'm not saying that 0 Husky fans would do the same thing if there was a serial killer from University of Oregon. But what I will say is they're awful. Just as a broad general statement, because you know why? Because they win all the time, right? And they get close, but they never win a championship. But they've had that Phil Knight money coming in for 20-something years.
Sure.
So they have become a top-notch program that never wins the big one. And yet their fans act like they win it every year. They are so pompous, right? And it's hard for me as a Husky fan to say anything because we take this year out of it. We beat them twice, but we haven't beaten them. We beat them probably once in the last 12 years. So I can't
Sore
say
loser.
anything. Yeah, right. I can't say anything because they're right. They're better. But I am not surprised by this. Who wants to talk about serial killers at a football game? Duck fans do. That's who.
I wonder if it just came to him. They're like, I got a good one. Wait till we get a lead. I'm gonna nail him with this one.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. All right, we got one more here. Rant to the uniforms worn by the Seattle Seahawks back on Thanksgiving Day. They looked like sickly geckos. So I just want to I want that to put that out there. Like, I think from now on, they should not be the Seattle Seahawks. They should be Seattle sickly geckos.
Well, that's only if Geico will upgrade their advertising money, right? I mean, right now they're at 1 tier. And if they go to the next tier, we change the name.
There we go. There we go. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. I want to get your opinion on this.
Okay.
So I asked Tim Harmston was here last week, and he had a really good answer.
I love Tim Harmston.
Well, ditto. So our buddy Chad Daniels, comedian Chad Daniels, has a beer named after him right now. It's available in stores called Dad Chaniels.
Oh,
It's
that's
a session
great.
IPA. It is really good. I have some at home. Anyway, so I asked him what would his drink be if a company came to him and said, what would you like us to produce and put your name on? And he said basically we came up with a bathtub hard seltzer, basically. Homemade hard seltzer. What would Kermet Apio's beverage be if someone came to you and said, we're going to slap your name on this can?
I'll tell you right now, it would be a spiked pie milkshake. It would be.
Is that a thing? Did you just invent this?
Oh, I hope I did.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be great? Like you know, because some places have the guts to make a pie milkshake. Not many, but some places have the guts to put pie, ice cream, and milk in a blender and just serve it as a drink. I think if you spike that bad boy, you don't even have to have people around you. That's a party by yourself. You know what I mean? And then if it is a social thing, it's even better. Even that's wonderful. So I think yes, a spiked pie milkshake.
Can we get that on the menu before Sunday?
That's coming this New Year's Eve to Acme Comedy Company.
The Apio.
Let me ask you this, because I'm not. I mean, I rarely. I don't drink that much. I do drink, but when I do, I'll have a couple of beers. I'm not familiar that much with hard alcohol. If you were to make that drink? What is the alcohol you'd use in the pie milkshake?
Rum.
Oh, right, because a little sweetness.
Yeah.
There we go. Everybody.
And I'm no expert, but that's the first thing that came to mind.
There we go. This is a Thanksgiving tradition waiting to happen.
Come on.
We are putting America on blast on this.
I think so.
Okay. I'm so glad you asked me that question because I've never thought about that.
Look at that.
All right.
Let's get that together. Maybe you can sell them as merch on your next time at Acme. Little to-go cans, huh?
That's to-go cans of pie milkshake.
Yeah. I think we're onto something.
Yeah, like a growler. Get the growler size.
See?
Right?
See?
You got relatives coming over?
Absolutely. Is there anything? Let's see. Let's talk once again about you being there's shows throughout the week here.
Yes.
We're recording this early in the week. Normally I come and see a show and then we record. But we're getting this one out early in the week.
Well, the good thing about it is that seeing my show doesn't really help your interview at all. It doesn't.
Not true. At the very least, I could show up and say I had a really good time. But I could just say that from all the other times I've seen it.
Right.
That's not going to change. That's not going to change. But I do want to point out that if people coming here on New Year's Eve is a great idea. You can come and get the dinner beforehand.
Yep.
And then come see the show.
Yep.
This I've been here when Lewis puts on these 4 or 5 course meals when Acme has gatherings and I get invited for that. It's amazing.
It's great.
And that's what people are going to get here on Sunday nights.
It's a great thing to do. And the nice thing about it is that, with one ticket, it's all taken care of. You're going to get dinner, you get good seats to the show. And
so there's 2 shows on Sunday.
Yeah.
7 and 9:30.
Yeah.
As well as throughout the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 7 and 9:30. And then, so with that timing, the show will be over by midnight. By the time we hit 2024, the show will be over. But you will stick around? Yes? People want to stay after the show?
Yes. I'll definitely be around.
I know in the past, the show ends pre-midnight, and Acme's not going to rush you out of here. If you want to stick around and have a drink, maybe, and Kermit will stick around, and you guys can do some cheers at midnight.
I'll stick around because the last thing I want to do is wander the Minneapolis streets in the middle of winter. That's the last thing I want to do, right? So I'm gonna stay inside.
Yeah. Yes.
And I'll be around. I love coming to this club, so I'm definitely looking forward to it.
And if between now and then you find some sort of pie drink that you can share with Kermit, I don't know that he would turn that
Bring
down.
your blender. Let's make this happen. And by the way,
there are outlets around here. What if the show ends and all of a sudden, click, 6 vendors and blenders kick on.
And I'll put this out there right now. I'm looking for a sponsor. I don't have a company that's making it right now because we just came up with the idea. So if you have pie, if you have blenders, and if you have rum, let's talk, man. Let's get rich together.
Come on, I'm in. I'm in.
You and I, we have a partnership now. So I'm putting the word out, Acme fans.
612. No, kidding. There's call me directly. I'll get the message to Kermit and we'll take care of it. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. It's always nice to see you. And it's just, you're fun to be around and all that. And you're a nice guy, but really being able to talk sports, because for some people, sports are like a nice conversation and then let's stop. Right. And so when you meet someone who just enjoys talking about sports as much as you do, it's great. So it's nice to see you again.
Absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I have a good feeling we'll do this again within the next year.
Fingers crossed.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.